We'll now take questions. When the microphone comes your way, please state your name, your affiliation, and to whom you're addressing your question. Right here on the end, please.
Chris Gebhardt with NASASpaceflight.com. Trying to understand a little bit more about the GUP-P issue that you had and the leak. Was it between the GUP-P and the ET carrier plate?
There are really quite a few parts to this assembly. There's there's a portion that stays on the tank, there's a portion that stays on the pad, and there's a portion that goes in between the carrier assembly. The QD is part of that assembly that is attached to the tank, and then the portion that's on the vent line, which is on the pad, attaches to the back of that QD. So the seal and the QD are generally are assembled together with the tank, and the vent line is part of the pad. So it was the seal and the QD that are installed at that point against the tank that we had the leakage issue with.
I noted yesterday during the briefing that they mentioned at the right-hand pivot assembly there were gaps or misalignments that were noted out at the pad after the scrub. And just wondering, considering you had misalignments at the right-hand pivot assembly in, I believe it was a different GUP-P assembly back in the VAB when this tank arrived, and if that's in a place of the GUP-P where it could have contributed to the seal issue and to the leak, or is it just a different part of the assembly entirely and it's just happened that there were misalignments there?
That's where we were able to see the misalignment, because it was not where we had it originally. We don't believe that's what caused it. We believe that that's just where we saw it. We could see it manifested, because the clearances are very, very tight. It's in the thousandths of an inch. There's many theories that we're still looking at, and the investigation team that will analyze this malfunction will take a while to come down to root cause. Some potential is we believe the demating and remating operation may have something to do with a misalignment. We don't quite know where exactly it is, so that's still TBD.
James.
James in Florida today. Ms. Boehner, is the program committing to one opportunity on Wednesday, or is there still a possibility if something happens, that obviously is correctable in time, weather or something, that you could go Thursday too?
Well, the agreement we've made with the range and with the Atlas LRO folks is that we will have one opportunity on the 17th and then stand down and allow them to play through. Like Kathy has shown, we always plan a couple of days in the future in case some unforeseen thing happens and we have an opportunity. We're ready. If the vehicle will be ready to make multiple attempts, our only constraint is range right now. If for some reason that constraint were lifted, we may have other opportunities. And we'd be ready for that.
Bobby?
Bobby Block from the Orlando Sentinel. To follow on to James' question, there was some talk about the possibility of looking at the 21st and shortening the duration of the stay. Have you given any more thought to that? And then I have a follow-up.
There was a team at JSC looking at that. Doing the 21st would cost us our 5th EVA. It would result in a 15+1 mission. There's a lot of get-ahead work that we'd like to get on that EVA. It's not high criticality or high priority, but we did defer some work from previous missions into this one that we could catch up on. And we really would like to get that done. Obviously, if we go to the trouble to go up there, we'd like to get as much done as we can. We could defer that work to another time and turn it into 15+1, where that +1 would be a contingency day if we had to do the 5th EVA to catch up on some of the high priority items. But that would make it a little more complicated as far as crew scheduling and rest and other such things. So that's being looked at, but it's not a given at this point.
So just to be sure, so if for some reason you don't go on the 17th, are you looking then in July 11th?
It would be after, yes, July 11th would be our next option after that.
Marcia.
Marcia Dunn, Associated Press. Was there anything unusual about the seals or the quick disconnect that you pulled off overnight?
The only things that we've seen is evidence of a little compression on a couple of spots, probably caused by the fact that it was a bit misaligned. And if you take any seal and you misalign it a little bit, it's going to press in areas where it's not generally supposed to be. That is as much as we've been able to determine at this point. What's causing the misalignment is probably what we really have to go after, because if we can keep the alignment straight, the seals work fine. It's between the mating and demating, at some point we're getting that misalignment problem, and we're still looking for where that happens.
And I'm wondering how tight the countdown is. We heard pretty tight yesterday. Is that still the case? And I'm wondering if these thunderstorms even this afternoon could put you behind.
Obviously, thunderstorms have the potential to put us behind. Right now, the work that we have ahead of us fits. It is the same work we did for STS-119, and that was equally tight. And we ended up a couple of hours after the T-11 resumed. We were just putting the last couple of touches on our work, which is what we expect to be doing here. There is a little bit of additional wiggle time we could get back on the right side of that if we went a bit later. So we could afford another hour or two if we had to for weather kind of constraints and still make it.
And lastly, Kathy, what's the weather look like for the Atlas on Thursday?
Well, right now there's a 40% chance of launch commit criteria violation for the Atlas launch in the afternoon, right? We do expect to see some thunderstorms in the area. They may push more inland, but still concern for cumulus clouds, anvils, and lightning.
Dan.
Yeah, Dan Billow from Channel 2. You mentioned this already, but just to clear it up for me, if you would, the seal that was misaligned is manufactured with the tank. It comes from Louisiana with the tank. Is that correct?
I believe that to be the case, but I don't know for sure.
Are there any other questions? Well, that'll conclude our STS-127 countdown status briefing. Please join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern for an LRO L-Cross science briefing, and then we'll begin tanking commentary for the STS-127 mission at 8 p.m. Eastern. For more information on the STS-127 mission and crew, please visit www.nasa.gov/shuttle. Thank you.